Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. Assembling several different ideas and concepts, Victor Salva did manage to deliver a spine-chilling horror movie in 2001, The Jeepers Creepers. The film received mixed reviews, but was a box office success. Compiled within a budget of $10 million, the film grossed $59 million at the box office. However, in the subsequent sequels, the franchise failed to attain the heights of the first one. The recent 2022 sequel, Jeepers Creepers Reborn, also failed to reach up to its expectations, and it seems like the true identity and origin of the Creeper is going to be a mystery after all. There are many theories and ideas revolving around the Creeper, and in today's video, we'll talk about all possible theories behind the origin of the Creeper. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is the Creeper? Serving as the main antagonist of the Jeepers Creepers film, the Creeper was portrayed as an ancient demon that remained dormant throughout the year and hunted for 23 days on every 23rd of spring. He ate human organs that he liked or needed to replace his damaged parts. The Creeper scared its targets and used its scent of fear to choose what it wanted to feed on. The monster is nearly invincible, as it's assumed that it had eaten several human hearts, which rejuvenated his life even after fatal injuries. In all appearances, the character was played by Jonathan Breck, except for two instances: the ending of the first film, played by Justin Long, and the middle scene of the second film, which was played by Al Santos. Despite being ancient, the Creeper is smart and updated to modern human society. He's shown to drive a massive truck without any hassle and is rather shown to be good at it. The Creeper seemed to enjoy killing people and took time during his dormancy to make grotesque artwork from the bodies of his victims. He took great joy in hunting his prey and amused himself by making cannibalistic gestures, igniting greater fear in his victims. There is literally no hope of escaping the monster. He's ruthless and merciless. His persona is quite human-like, and as shown in the first film, he was whistling and swinging on the 1938 Louis Armstrong jazz standard Jeepers Creepers. However, his true form is like a giant bat, which he adapts when he's in desperation or crisis. When his 23 days are toward their end, he becomes vicious and he thrives on his full potential. In most cases, the Creeper hunted his victims like an amusing sport, but when his days are about to end, he's straight into his target of killing and eating as many people as possible. The Creeper never spoke, but did respond to human emotions like fear, pain, anger, and amusement. When it comes to hunting down his targets, he has specific choices and doesn't kill everyone. He uses his cunning and calculative techniques to mentally break down his prey before finally taking them. The Creeper's appearance can shock the life out of any human being. He has a tall, humanoid form with razor-sharp claws and teeth. His skin is dark green in color and has scales. The Creeper had the ability to regenerate his body parts by consuming his victims, and as mentioned in the first film, it can be assumed that he'd eaten several human hearts, which made him unkillable. His skin is durable against bullets, and with the aid of his gigantic wings, he could cover distances faster than automobiles. The Creeper possessed superhuman strength and often used weapons like medieval axes, custom-made spears which could travel far lengths, and knives. After killing his victims, he carried them in his large, rusty 1940s delivery truck. Creeper is based on a real-life killer. There are many horror and thriller films based on real-life incidents, but it's difficult to process a true incident like that of the Jeepers Creepers. Well, that's completely fine, as Victor Salva merely adapted visions and ideas from a real-life murder case. Michigan resident Dennis Depew in 1990 had murdered his wife as an act of vengeance after she had filed a divorce. Dennis had shot her in the back of her head, and while he was dumping her body behind an abandoned schoolhouse, he was spotted by Ray and Marie Thornton, who later became eyewitnesses to the incident. Dennis, on noticing the Thorntons, tailed them for several miles. The Thorntons reported the incident, and the case was later broadcasted on a TV show named Unsolved Mysteries in March of 1991. And for the ones who have watched the first movie, this should ring a bell. In the movie, Tricia and Darry witnessed the Creeper dumping bodies through the tunnel, and they were later followed by him. The opening sequences where Tricia and Darry play games with car license plates were identical to that of the Thorntons from Unsolved episodes. Even the dialogues were the same, for which Salva's inspiration is undeniable. comic-based theory on who is the Creeper. Sometime during April 2018, Dynamite Comics published the first of 5-issue-long comic series Jeepers Creepers, which accompanied the films. Written by Mark Andreyko and illustrated by Cuba Ball, the comics explain the origin of the mythological monster in the second and third issues. The story revolves around a student named Devon who made anthropological trips to dig out information about the Creeper. He learns that hundreds of years ago, the Creeper existed before man walked on Earth. The Aztecs believed him to be their serpent god, Quetzalcoatl. The Aztecs would perform bizarre rituals and sacrifice human hearts for their god to eat. And this continued with the Cherokees as well, who addressed the monster as the Uktana, the most feared dark creature, and performed a similar ritual to keep the Creeper appeased. The Creeper was also stated to be responsible for the disappearance of the Roanoke colonists in the late 1580s and the cause of the mine fire in central Pennsylvania in 1962. Unfortunately, all these lured Devon to the Creeper himself, who rather gave a tough fight to the vicious beast before being killed by the Creeper. The comics also revealed that once the Creeper used any organ from his victims, it connected them physically, and he could also plant fake memories in them. Creeper is Victor Salva's own reflection. Victor Ronald Salva was a controversial person, and there are theories stating that the Creeper was a reflection of his twisted persona. Victor was born on March 29, 1958 in Martinez, California. After his father abandoned him, he was raised by his stepfather, who was an alcoholic. Victor's childhood was traumatizing as his stepfather often physically abused him. While being a teenager, Victor was heavily drawn to horror and sci-fi films. His favorite monster movie was Creature from the Black Lagoon, and according to a local newspaper, Victor had watched Jaws 55 times. By the time he graduated from high school, he'd written and directed more than 20 short and featured films. Unfortunately, his homophobic family disowned him after they figured out that Victor was gay. All these turmoils probably twisted Victor's mind, and in 1988, he was convicted of sexual misconduct with one of the juvenile actors from his movie Clown House. Child pornographic videotapes and magazines were also procured from his residence, which led him to a 3-year sentence in state prison. However, he'd served only 15 months and completed his parole in 1992. Creeper, as derived from the word creep, had similar traits to Salva himself: the hunting for new targets and the vicious ways in which the monster amused himself by sniffing and tasting his targets draws attention to Salva's twisted thoughts and activities. Although this might seem wild, towards the end of the movie, when Trisha tries convincing the Creeper to take her instead of Derry, the Creeper chooses the boy. Now, it has been mentioned that the Creeper chose his victims and spared the rest, but that small incident also signified his preference for boys over girls. After the incident of his horrific deeds, Victor's career had a 5-year-long pause where he stopped making films and served as a telemarketer during the week. In 1995, his next film was released, which was The Nature of the Beast. His next film, Powder, however, was boycotted as his case was then known to the public. He finally bounced back in 2001 with Jeepers Creepers. Is Creeper a fallen angel? Since the true identity of the Creeper has always been kept a secret, there can be innumerable possibilities for his origin. Despite his strength and durability, some attributes associated with the Creeper guide us to believe it to be a jinn or demon. He's very much similar to the Nephilim, mysterious beings from the Hebrew Bible. These beings were large and strong and even considered to be the hybrid sons of fallen angels and daughters of Adam. The main reference of the Nephilim is present in Genesis 6, 1-4, and according to the Book of Numbers 13-33, they were believed to be inhabitants of Canaan at the time of the Israelite conquest of Canaan. Since then, there have been several interpretations of the term, with some stating it to be giants while some as the fallen. The traits of the Nephilim are similar to that of the Creeper, except for the part that they were beautiful in appearance. The Creeper's age and traits of eating humans is very similar to that of the Nephilim, and the hand floating from Jeepers Creepers also signifies his magical abilities. The wings can also be derived from its angelic half, and these points may very well identify the Creeper as a fallen angel. Even in the comics, they believed the monster to be a serpent god, signifying that humans accepted the divinity of the creature and sacrificed their own lives to appease the deity. The Creeper surely had supernatural powers, be it his superhuman strength, speed, and durability, which makes the mystery about its origin satanic.
Let him go and take me. You let him go!
Creeper got infected with an alien parasite theory. While some theories suggested the Creeper to be a divine evil being, there were some theories stating it to be extraterrestrial as well. These theories believed that once this Creeper was a human who had discovered an extraterrestrial parasite or symbiote which attached itself to the human. Once attached, it started using the human body to drain energy from living beings. At first, it ate a bird, which provided the talons and the wings to the creature. He later ate animals and finally started devouring humans for energy. His body was scaly and he seemed like he had attributes of different animals. The theory suggested that all these years the Creeper had been eating and absorbing energy from several living beings to finally becoming so powerful. The theory also justified its dormancy to save energy as the parasite thrives on energy. Is Creeper a vampire? Believe it or not, the Creeper is quite similar to a vampire. The character's design seemed vampire-like with the heavy black trench coat and wide-brimmed hat, except for the fact that the Creeper ate far more than just blood. Bloodthirsty cannibal monster feeding on its prey at night mostly lures similarities with a vampire. Besides, the Creeper isn't also a big fan of sunlight, which is another similar trait. The old abandoned church in the first movie, where he was embedding real dead humans on the wall, had all its windows covered. There were wooden pieces nailed across vents and windows in such ways that the inside remained dark. In the first movie, when Trisha and Darry witnessed the Creeper dumping bodies, his face was shown to be covered along with his entire body. With these inferences, one is not wrong to call the Creeper a vampire legend in Salva's universe. Is Creeper related to Stephen King's It monster? Talking of similarities and inspirations, the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers is an amalgamation of different thoughts and ideas. The characters seem to have ideated from different perspectives with similar traits like vampires and even demonic entities. Some theories suggest that the Creeper is linked to Stephen King's Pennywise, the dancing clown. It is debatable, but there are indeed a lot of similarities between the two. Pennywise was a shape-shifting monster that resided in Derry, Maine. Their similar personality, behaviors, and patterns make them similar creatures. Both of them have a similar dormancy period. Pennywise arises from his slumber every 27 years, and the Creeper wakes up every year on the 23rd of spring. Both creatures use fear as their main weapon. Pennywise had specific targets, while the creature chose his with the scent of fear. Owing to all these similarities, fans theorized the Creeper to be a form adapted by the shape-shifting clown. Toward the end of Stephen King's novel, the losers comment on the fact that Pennywise is pregnant and maybe the Creeper is one of its offspring. In Stephen King's multiverse, Pennywise is rumored to have been witnessed in several cities, and the Creeper might well be one of them. However, even with all these wild imaginations, the two creatures are not the same. The Creeper is an ancient monster, while Pennywise is an interdimensional being. Creeper is a Daitengu fan theory. According to Japanese mythology, a Daitengu, or the Great Tengu, is an imposing semi-human with a long nose and large wings, which is very similar to the Creeper. Fans believe that the nameplate of the Creeper's truck, which showed BEATNGU, might just be a short form of Be a Tengu instead of Be Eating You. The two of them have a striking resemblance. Firstly, their appearance and physiology are similar, as they're both humanoid figures with large wings and claws that can pick up and carry their prey easily. They both have a prominent nose and pointed ears and had a similar malicious smile. Daitengus wore robes, and the Creeper also wore similar long concealing clothing. They both survived on human flesh and are merciless monsters. The Daitengu spoke through people's mouth, and in a deleted scene from the first movie, the Creeper is shown to be doing something similar when he used the head or tongue of his former victim to speak to the protagonists. Apart from these, both beings require or prefer an emotional response from their victims. Shown in the play Kurama Tengu, one individual did not feel disgusted by the Tengu, so he spared his life and taught him martial arts. Similarly, in the first movie, the Creeper sniffed Giselle, but spared her as she didn't have any fear of him. She looked frightened, but already knew what was about to happen and was aware that she would not die. According to legends, the Daitengu was a skilled martial artist, and the Creeper has also shown quite a lot of skills. Be it jumping over running cars or throwing spears and shurikens, the Creeper is highly skilled. They are also similar in the way that they enjoy playing games with their victims. All these hint gently toward the Japanese inspiration behind the character, and the Creeper might as well be the American version of the Daitengu. However, there has been no such thing as a hibernation period for the Daitengu. Creeper could be a Wendigo variant. After journeying through several different comparisons, we now come to the ancient cannibalistic giant from the northern Algonquin folklore, the Wendigo. The Wendigo has served as a vicious monster in innumerable films, stories, and comics. They normally have a more violent streak and are unable to fly. They are grounded and are usually seen in forests. The only similar trait to that of the creeper is their never-ending hunger for human flesh. According to folklore, once a Wendigo tastes the flesh of humans, he can never stop longing for more. And this theory seemed quite fit for the creeper, as the creature too could not stop eating human flesh. However, there are many more points of disagreement, as there is nothing much about the hibernation period of Wendigos, and also their personalities are quite different. Wendigos are vicious, and they won't waste time playing games with their victims. They spot, attack, and devour. Also, the Wendigo's appearance is significantly different from that of the creeper. Wendigos are furry and possess obnoxiously long teeth and jaws. There is no malicious grin or smile on its face, but pure rage. Creeper is a gargoyle theory. Some fans believe the creeper to be a gargoyle, and there are many points to validate the theory. Gargoyles were used in describing architectural features. They are grotesque figures that are used for decorative purposes. To be precise, the word gargoyle is used to refer to mostly eerie figures carved, particularly with termination spouts to convey water from the sides of the buildings. Going by the French legend, the former chancellor of the Merovingian king Clotaire II, and later the Bishop of Rouen, Saint Romanus, protected the country around Rouen from a vicious monster called Gargouille or Goji. As described, this creature had enormous bat-like wings, a long neck, and the ability to breathe fire from its mouth. There are innumerable stories as to how Saint Romanus subdued the monster. Some state that he'd captured the creature with the help of the crucifix, while some state that he'd had help from a condemned man. In all cases, the monster was burned at Rouen, except its head and neck, which was then mounted on the walls of the newly built church to drive off evil spirits. The creeper taking away body parts from individual beings is pretty similar to the chimera mythology. Secondly, gargoyles or chimeras are related to religious buildings, and in the first movie, we got to see a similar picture of the House of Pain. Also, the unofficial Jeepers Creepers 3 was titled Cathedral, emphasizing the significant link of the creature with religion. St. Romanus, as mentioned in the stories, had subdued the gargoyle with a crucifix, and that is similar to the scene where Jack Taggart Sr. from the Jeepers Creepers 2 had crucified the creeper. Last but not least, the number 23, which is mentioned to be the day in spring when the creeper would rise from his dormancy, and also the number of days he would be active, matches with St. Romanus' feast day, which is on October the 23rd. Hence, it is not wrong to say that the Victor Salva also had inspiration from gargoyles. Is Jeepers Creepers a parasite? While there are several theories about the identity of the creeper being that of a vampire, gargoyle, Wendigo, and demon, there is one which states that the creeper was a human turned into a parasite. The theory suggested that the creeper was an evil person during the Middle Ages whom the devil tricked after making a deal. Parallel to this, some stated that the creature was a man who southed a witch and was cursed into transforming into a parasite. Parasite, by definition, is an organism that lives on its host, and from the movie stated, the creeper needed to feed on different organs to replace his damaged ones. Thus, the creeper is like a parasite, feeding on its prey to survive. Conclusion. Therefore, to conclude, we can say that Victor Salva had a wide range of imaginations and concepts that culminated in the creeper. Victor had a flair for horror in the first place, and it's quite obvious for a writer and director to have gone through stories and folklore of different cultures. He was smart enough to not copy any single concept blatantly. He instead stitched all that he could from different horror stories to give birth to his creeper. In fact, this is exactly what influence means. Your mind captures all relevant details from your likings and molds it to create your own, unlike copying, where you try to reshape one single concept. Jeepers Creepers in 2001 was a box office hit and an unbelievable comeback for Victor Salva after his downfall with a case of molesting a minor and child pornography. The episode of the unsolved mystery about Dennis Dupuis influenced him in shaping the scenes and building a thrill in the film's first half. Unfortunately, Jeepers Creepers Reborn failed to create much thrill, for we certainly hope for a better sequel. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.